Female dating strategy. So this subreddit has actually gained a lot of attention recently, and I wanted to offer some of my own personal opinions and to share what other people have posted. So this is episode 1. So here's the question we will be dealing with today. Does physical attraction matter less to keep a guy? I know we all hear that men care about looks, how visual they are, how some are entitled to have a good-looking chick, etc. But I've been lurking on relationship subs or the dead bedroom sub, and I see men dating or even marrying women when 1. The sex sucked or was never that good from the start, 2. The attraction wasn't there from the start or decreased with time for many reasons, and 3. Men choosing women who are not their type fully physically or other personality traits. Many stay married or keep dating women who refuse to fuck them for some reason for months or years, and it is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that's not a true relationship then. You need to have sex in order to be in like a real long-term relationship that you both feel fulfilled within. I would hate to be in a relationship where a guy doesn't find me that attractive but picked me for my mind or whatever. Well, that seems kind of obvious. Everyone wants to feel attractive. But somehow the emotional component seems much more important for a serious relationship. I mean, I beg to differ with that. I think that those are two equally important aspects of a relationship. Sexual attraction is just as important as emotional attraction. And nevertheless, if you have both, they tend to increase each other's. So it wouldn't be demanding to have both, though, like compatibility and a connection plus sexual chemistry. Doesn't mean the guy has to be a model or anything, just good sexual attraction that flows naturally. I mean, I agree that you want both of these things, but it seems these days that women just have this expectation that a man does not have his own like freedom of thought. They just want them to conform to their own realities and what a woman's expectation of a relationship is. And if you expect to get that sexual chemistry as well as emotional chemistry, you have to have some sort of compromise that works in the relationship where you mutually benefit from this experience. You can't just expect a man to take on the views of a woman, or else that's not a true man. That's not a man you're going to be emotionally attracted to in the long run. So it makes me wonder, because I've been in a situation where me and a guy were very attracted to each other sexually, but personality-wise we didn't click for many reasons, too different, etc. I mean, I agree that there are some circumstances where women and men, do not have some sort of compatibility for like personality-wise, but in a lot of cases, it tends to be the woman who just expects a man to conform to her reality. You need to allow men to have their own personalities as well. So he was very wishy-washy and undecided and didn't know what he wanted. I really wanted to have sex with him and to be friends with benefits, but he didn't want to use me because of many reasons. Do you really think he's going to see you as a woman that he can be with long term, that he can introduce to his parents as a respectable individual if initially you just have sex with him and you want to be friends with benefits? Those are not characteristics that are desirable. When we tried dating, it was very confusing. It led to a breakup because he wasn't in love and didn't have intimacy or a connection or things in common, but looks weren't the issue. Physical attraction comes first, but later on, does the other stuff matter more? I mean, of course it does. If you just rely on strictly physical attraction and the sex initially, he's not going to see you as a potential long-term partner. Like if physical attraction is an 8 on 10, not objective looks, just sexual attraction or tension, and emotional attraction and compatibility are a 4 to 6 on 10, for a girl she wouldn't win against a girl whom he has 5 to 7 on 10 sexual attraction, and 8 to 10 compatibility, etc. I mean, those numbers are a bit confusing, but compatibility and seeing potential as a wife or as a future mother is going to be a huge influence on sexual attraction in the long run. Okay, let's see what some people responded. So, if you're looking for a long-lasting desire, it's advised to not chase the man you want, but let him chase you. Because then you know, whatever your looks, they were attractive enough for him to want to know you better. I do agree with this. I think that a man initially should have some sort of attraction to you. Being physically desired is something that's really important in a relationship. It's something that will last the long run and keep that spark alive. Now, you can't be solely dependent on your physical looks. You need to take initiative and take action and re-entice a man over time. So it is not a guarantee that your relationship will work out. But if you're fond of each other's attraction in the first place, in addition to whatever other compatibility you have, your chances of lasting happiness are a lot higher than the average couple, where one or both got into it for other reasons, like out of lust, but there was never a compatibility in the first place, and vice versa. I don't think you could really have a long-term lasting relationship if it was just based on lust or based on a small factor that kept you guys together. If you really want to make it the long run, like several years or marriage or kids, you have to have a lot more than just simply lust. Like I said before, a man does not desire just simply lust. He desires a woman who he can see as a future wife, as a future mother, who has characteristics that are respectable, like a lady, not someone who he's worried is going to go sleep around or who he sees as being lewd or dirty in any sort of way. That's someone he just wants to sleep with one night. That's not someone he wants to maintain a long-term relationship with. So sometimes people, particularly men, are prone to sliding into a long-term relationship because it's comfortable for them, not out of any exceptional feeling. So it's important to not make it easy for them to slide into your life if they aren't really into you, or to stay and waste your time if they are not compatible. Because some will chase and hunt you down like you're the real thing, but the moment they think they've got you, the mask drops and their effort is reduced to zero. So I do believe that is true, that a lot of men often get comfortable in their situation and they put less effort into the relationship. But I also think that women have this unrealistic expectation that men automatically know that they need to increase their effort, or that the woman's becoming dissatisfied. It's our responsibility to communicate that, not just expect your man to take action without any signals. The reality is they need to be told sometimes when you're unhappy or when you're not satisfied. You can't just expect those changes to happen as a result of their own intuition. They need to be guided sometimes in that aspect, and you yourself need to put in the effort too. You can't just expect him to be the only one putting in that extra approach or extra effort that's needed in order to keep a relationship stimulated. It takes two to tango here. Okay, so first, your post and question is very hard to read and confusing. The grammar wasn't great, but it wasn't that confusing. And then number 2, quite a few men on those subs fail to mention that there are reasons their significant other won't have sex with them. This could range to them not wanting to perform porn acts their husband wants, not wanting to do anal, not wanting threesomes, and not wanting to have sex because their husband treats them badly. Those are some extremes there. If you're in a long-term relationship, you kind of do need to explore different areas, different activities. It doesn't necessarily have to be the lewd porn acts that you see on TV, but there are other areas that you can explore. We don't need to jump straight to anal. But sex is something that you need to keep finding new ways to do things. You need to come up with new fantasies, new desires, because people's desires change over time. People get too comfortable, too set in a routine, and you need to change it up. Or they may not want to because they receive no satisfaction from it, like a jackrabbit fuck with no clitoral stimulation. Well, if that's the case, if you've just been letting your man just fuck you quick and in and out, how is he ever going to get that desire to stimulate you? You need to communicate that to him. You need to have that expectation. Don't let him get in until you yourself are satisfied. Some women may not have sex because they are just tired from doing all the household chores or because they just gave birth. This person seems to have a very negative view of that traditionalist woman. Men on these subs seem to not realize these are valid reasons to not have sex, and marriages can't always have sex every day. I mean, I'm married. My husband doesn't have the expectation that I have sex with him every day, but I feel like it's somewhat of my wifely duty to satisfy him. I know that he has more of a sexual drive than I do, but that doesn't mean I don't derive pleasure from it as well. I think it would be unrealistic to say you have to have sex every day, but I think that that does play a part in your role if you are in a relationship. Yes, there are couples that don't have sex, not due to these reasons, but in the case it genuinely would be good to leave for both parties. Why stay with someone for mediocre sex and relationship when you can meet someone more compatible? I think that's a huge issue these days, and that's why we have a lot of failed marriages and failed relationships. That unrealistic expectation that you can always find someone better. I mean, is there always someone better out there, or is it just that you're not putting enough effort into the initial relationship that you're in? People give up too quick. They have no commitment. A relationship takes effort. It takes work. It's something that you continuously have to nurture. It's not something that comes easily. And to have that unrealistic expectation that if it's not easy, then you should give up and go find something that's easy and better, nothing will be easy. For your looks match thing, it's confusing that you are asking what you are asking, but that kind of question. The general thought on this sub is that many lower value men expect perfect makeup and clothes due to their warped porn obsessive brains. I've dated a man like this before, and it is terrible. I don't believe that all men expect perfect makeup and clothes. I think that they expect you at some point to put the effort in order to entice them. Maybe they wouldn't be watching so much porn if you actually satisfied your man. So, also, friends with benefit is frowned upon in this sub, and encouragement or advice based on it isn't allowed here. One night stands with no attachments are what is listed in the guidebook, because friends with benefit tend to be emotionally unstable. I mean, I hate this policing in the sub. I honestly hate this left-wing approach where women feel the need to sort of uplift each other and act as if friends with benefits does not exist in this world. So I wrote it when I was tired. I meant that men stay in sexless relationships because they love the woman or even marry women when the sex was never the best because they were compatible in other areas. I don't think that is a response to friends with benefits at all, but I think that's absolutely pathetic. This is superficial. It's not just superficial. I mean, it shows that that's not a true man. These characteristics that women often desire throughout the course of history in men, this alpha male, this strong male, who has that aggression, who has that desire for the female. If you expect them to desire you, but to also be completely complacent and to give in to everything you believe and to just obey at command, you're not going to find a man like that. If you want that alpha male who desires you, you also need to understand that he's going to have strong opinions and strong views as well that you don't need to turn away from, but you can encourage and you can embrace as your own. So let me know what you think. Does physical attraction matter less to keep a guy? Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and make sure to subscribe for more.